What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about compound today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends. We're sitting here at about 75.7 cents, $75.72, my bad. Consolidating at the top end of this overall kind of accumulation phase that we're in, right? We're consolidating right at the top here, ready to break out, ready for riches and glory. When's it going to happen? Where's it going to happen? All those questions and more answered hopefully by the end of this video. From a relative all-time high to the relative low of that move that preceded it. Not the all-time low, but just the move that preceded it right there, right? This was a fake out. In terms of the fib, I don't want to measure that. And I think we can see that here, right? You tipped the 382 very well, very specifically right there. Found support resistance right there at the 236 a few times actually. Anyways, high to low, where you're at now, I suspect your next move would at a minimum take you to your golden ratio 61869. We look at the price, and in this area, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense, but to me, it would actually make more sense, I think, to go to this area of resistance somewhere up here, which is in between the 786 to the 886 area. So it's completely possible and entirely acceptable for compound being at $75 now to move up to $235 to $304. It's completely acceptable for it to stop there. But I suspect that it will actually go higher. We probably will see targets around 421 to 610. That's my expectation. I think that compound and DeFi tokens alike are going to get a nice little bump in this next run here, but we'll see. Time will tell. You know, I don't want to be too bullish, but I do assume that compound will be above $300, potentially even above $400 by the end of this next move, which I think will start by the end of this month of January. It might start this week, it might start next week, but it's going to start soon. By it, I mean the move is going to start soon, and start soon does not mean end soon, right? We would start down here. It's like this move started here, but it ended here weeks later, a month later. I'm thinking in a month from now we'll be up here, but this week we might be starting the move. If not a month, maybe 2 months. Sometime at the end of February is what I'm expecting. If not then, the mid-end, late part of March. Anytime in March. Probably, I would think closer to the middle of March at this point in time. We'll see. Things can change. We're at $75.63 now. I suspect that when it comes time to move, that's the area that we would go to next. When it comes to all-time highs based off these same areas, you know, going to 2,400, 8,200, I think those are very doable targets. 8,000, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say out there. It just, you know, we would have to move up a lot in a very short amount of time. I didn't mean to glitch there. I didn't mean to pause out. I don't know what that was, but I was going like for a long time there. Compound. Looking at compound here, we're at $671 million. Let's call it 670. To 10x, that's a $6.7 billion. To 100x, it's a $67 billion market cap. That's attainable, guys. That's an attainable market cap. It's not given lightly. You have to work for it, right? Not every crypto achieves those kind of market caps, but compound could. My only qualm with that is we don't know what you look like in this bull market so far, right? I have a feeling like, is this the kind of movements that we're going to see going forward? Oh, then we're going to stop here. You know, if we stop here, if we can make a movement that goes all the way up to the 786, 886 by the end of this next move, which I think will be either in the end of February or sometime in the middle of March. If we can go up there, then I think there's hope for 8,000. But if we just do the same stuff that we've been doing, just these kind of wimpy moves that don't get us anywhere, then I suspect there's no $8,000, but likely something around $400 to $2,400. I do believe compound, without a doubt, will be worth new all-time highs and see a price at multiple thousands of dollars. The minimum target is what I love. The minimum target from here, man, is a 31x, and this is one, you know, to get a 30x as a minimum target, you guys, to get a 30 plus x as a minimum target, you normally have to pander around like sketchy, maybe not sketchy, I shouldn't say sketchy, riskier, less certain bets, right? Things that are lower on the chain as far as the overall market cap ranking goes. But with compound, compound might be one of the only coins in the top like 150 that has a minimum target at a 30x because it's been so boring. So whenever it breaks out, whenever it does its thing, I think that'll set the pace for what we can expect by the end of the cycle. If it's a good pace, cool. Maybe we can consider these. If it's a wimpy pace, it's possible we only stop at 2,400. But even at just 2,400, that's a 31x. At $4,000, that is a 1x. And of course, if we hit that last target, I doubt we would go above that, but that'd be about 100x from here. So compound here at 75 bucks, entirely a 100xable coin. Looking at the weekly RSI here, very, very bullish. I like what we're doing. It's possible that this could be the week that we find support and then we start to move up from here. It could turn around, or we could go a little bit lower. Maybe we find support at the 50, finding some higher lows kind of coming in trajectory there. It's possible. We don't have to find support above the 50. We have, once before, we've found support just below the 50. It doesn't have to be here, but soon is what I would think. The weekly RSI looks very bullish, and I suspect that this next move will likely have higher readings, if not similar readings in the RSI. And a move like that, I suspect, coming from high readings here, will be stronger than the move that preceded it. So if this move here, all I'm trying to say by that is I think this next move is going to be stronger. If that's the case, that takes us to about, let's try and get it right at the low there. That takes us right at 250. I'm very confident, you guys, if we don't stop at 250, we're not stopping until 500. Right, and that 500 level goes right between our 786 to 886 area. So very excited about that. I think we found our low already. Let's see if we can find things that agree with this. High to low here, 2618 at 463, 2886, 3113, all the way up at these areas. Not necessarily the congruence we were looking for, but there's areas at this 2618 and the 2272, even the 1886 that makes sense on a price perspective. But those are all like below 400, below $300 even. We look at this high to low here. And above there, 278 to 315 could be a target, but I think this seems a bit more likely. 428 to 629, okay, or something in between could happen. This actually makes the case for probably, if we're expecting $500 just based on the price, it might make the case for a $630 target, which does fit within the 786, 886 as well. You guys, if by the end of this move compounds at $630, there's no doubt in my mind it will be worth $8,000 or more even by the end of the cycle. But at this point in time, it's hard to see those numbers, right? But we'll see. We still, again, the reason why I have so much hope and faith for compound that it can see a 100x or even more is because we really haven't seen the strength of it yet, right? It's meandering. It's consolidating. It's, I don't know what to say, man. Pussyfooting around. It's not doing anything miraculous. This was the most miraculous it did, and even that wasn't a breakout. We barely broke above this range, and now we're consolidating on the top of it. So I think this next move will truly be the breakout move. It'll promote a lot of strength, and it'll give us a better gauge as to what to expect by the end of the cycle, okay? But nothing, even if we don't get $8,000, I do expect we're going to have a very miraculous end of cycle kind of finale. Daily RSI I think looks fine. Suggested that we could go lower. The 4 hour as well is suggested that we could go lower, and that's fine. We're at $75.6 now. If we wanted to go lower, from a low here to a high there, yeah, we could go to 73.5, 71.4, something like that. A higher low nonetheless, but I do suspect we move a little bit lower, just a little bit, and then we'll probably move up higher. I don't know. That 1 hour is actually showing some bullish divergence. We could keep making bullish divergence though. I think we go down today, we find our low, and then after today or starting today, we start to move back up. Would be my guess. It starts soon. By it, I mean this next move. We can get excited for that next move, which will take us anywhere from probably, let's be real, probably above 300 but below $600, somewhere in that range. If we're above 600, guys, that's good. That's really really good. It's good for the people that buy here. It's not so good for the people that'll buy there, right? Because then there will be less potential for it to grow at that point, but more potential for us who buy here. The price to watch to get excited for this next move to ensue would be probably around about $110. We close above 110, you guys. That's when it's time to get excited. Truthfully, I'd say 130. When you're above 130, you can't be stopped, but that's so close to the high already. I want to give you a number that's a little bit more attainable before then. 110. So we're at 75 now. Is it a good time to buy? I think so. Truthfully, as long as we're below 110, I think it's at a good time to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that's just my opinion. Daily RSI looks great. 4 hour RSI kind of looks like it could go down a little bit. The 1 hour suggests that you could be bouncing here, but you could go lower as well and continue to form divergence. Weekly RSI is great. Monthly RSI is great. Let's look at something we haven't looked at in a while, which is the ribbon, and then we'll end this video, okay? Monthly ribbon definitely looks bullish. it's in a bearish posturing, don't get me wrong, but when you reject the ribbon and get back into it immediately, that almost always results in a cross, or maybe not a cross, but price going above the ribbon. Okay, we don't have to cross. I suspect we might, but we don't have to. Weekly ribbon looks phenomenal. I like that we're tipping it, bouncing off of it. I would like it if we can get some separation without touching it again, though. The more touches we get, the more likely we are to go below it, right? That's what we just kind of determined. 3-day time frame. Not always the case, clearly. I mean, it doesn't have to happen. But again, you touch it a bunch of times before you move up higher for real, you have to go below it, right? So I'm not expecting compound to go below $67, but you guys, if it does, don't panic. Don't panic. It's probably going to be the most opportunistic buying opportunity if it does go below $67 there, but I don't think that it does, man. But it's completely possible. But the 3-day time frame definitely suggesting that we could go lower. It's completely possible. Daily time frame not suggesting anything. The daily time frame, in fact, is saying, don't look at me. I'm being disrespected. This is not worth talking about. So whenever you get this, whenever you do stuff like this, you're clearly disrespecting the ribbon, right? It's not. You can see the respect here. It's clearly being respected. But here, when you're just going up it, below it, it's not the same. So nothing to derive from there. Weekly looks great. 3-day, decent enough, but probably, could suggest you go lower. And the monthly looks great as well. So that's all I got for you guys. If you want, if you'd like to hit the like button, I'd greatly appreciate that. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.